Welcome to the DX Today Expert Report. Today, we're diving into a massive shift in the hospitality landscape. We are looking at a market fracture point that is fundamentally changing how we eat, sleep, and travel. It is January 2026, and if you thought the last 2 years of AI were fast, hold on tight.
It really does feel like we've hit a wall, or maybe broken through one, depending on how you look at it. For a while, the headlines were all about chatbots writing marketing copy or generating images of futuristic hotels.
But this new report we're looking at suggests that the wow factor is over. Exactly, and the distinction is crucial. Up until recently, we've been dealing with generative AI. Think of it like a really smart intern. You can ask it to draft a polite email to a guest apologizing for a delay. It writes it, but a human still has to read it, approve it, and hit send.
Right, it's passive. It waits for a prompt.
Precisely. But 2026 is the year of Agentic AI. If Gen AI is the intern, Agentic AI is the seasoned employee. This system doesn't just draft the email.
It notices a flight delay for an incoming VIP, autonomously reschedules their dinner reservation, notifies the kitchen to hold the meal, and updates the front desk to have a late-night snack ready in the room. And it does all of that without a human ever touching a keyboard. That is a massive leap in responsibility, and the numbers backing this are staggering. I was looking at the forecast from Precedence Research included in the report. They're projecting the AI market in food and beverage alone to grow from about $11 billion in 2024 to over $263 billion by 2034.
It's explosive growth. And it's not just because the tech is cool. It's an economic survival strategy. The hospitality sector is desperate to decouple revenue growth from labor shortages. You can't hire enough people to handle the volume, so you hire Silicon staff.
But before we get too far into the business side, I want to look under the hood. How does a computer program actually go from chatting to doing? The report talks a lot about LAMs, or large action models.
This is the technical backbone of the shift. Most people know LLMs, large language models, which predict the next word in a sentence. LAMs are different. They predict the next action. They use something called neurosymbolic reasoning. Essentially, they combine the fluency of a neural network with the hard logic of a computer program.
So instead of just planning a sentence, it's planning a workflow.
Exactly. It thinks, check inventory. If inventory is low, search vendors. Compare prices. It creates a chain of logic. The report highlights an interesting development here called the rabbit paradigm.
That's referring to those handheld AI devices from a few years back, right?
The concept, yes. These hospitality agents are trained on user interfaces. They can literally see the screen of legacy software, like an Oracle microsystem or an Opera PMS, and navigate the menus just like a human would. They know where to click. This solves a huge problem because a lot of hotel software is old and doesn't have modern connection points.
That sounds great in theory, but let's talk about reality. We've seen what happens when chatbots go wrong.
But when an agent has the power to spend money or change a reservation, the stakes are much higher. In the old days, if a chatbot hallucinated, it told you a lie. Annoying, but usually harmless. With Agentic AI, a hallucination is a financial loss. Like the Taco Bell incident mentioned in the executive summary. That is a prime example of a context failure. An AI drive-thru system started adding bacon to ice cream orders, which, depending on who you ask, might be a culinary breakthrough, but for operations, it's a disaster.
It's a critical failure in operational logic, and the report notes that early pilots had failure rates of 3 to 5%. When you are processing millions of transactions, that is unacceptable.
Despite the bacon ice cream risks, companies are deploying this aggressively. I was reading the case study on Golden Nugget hotels. They partnered with Poly AI to handle their phones.
And that is a success story. They were drowning in reservation calls. The front desk couldn't pick up fast enough, which means lost money.
They deployed a voice agent that could handle complex, non-linear conversations. The old press one for reservations bots would choke on that.
Right, but this agent handled it. The data shows they automated 34% of all reservation calls. That equates to about $600,000 in monthly revenue secured by the AI that otherwise might have been missed dial tones.
That's substantial. And it seems like the quick service restaurant industry, QSR, is moving even faster. SoundHound AI is doing a lot of work there.
They are.
They worked with White Castle to automate the drive-thru. We're talking about speech-to-meaning technology that processes orders in under 60 seconds. And here is the key metric for the business owners. The AI never forgets to upsell.
That's true. A tired employee at the end of an 8-hour shift might forget to ask if you want to make it a combo. The AI asks every single time.
And that drives the ticket size up. They're seeing a 90% order completion rate without human intervention.
I want to circle back to the infrastructure.
This is the interoperability challenge. For a long time, connecting an AI to a hotel's property management system was a nightmare of custom coding. Now, we are seeing standardized protocols where a host system allows an agent to read and write data safely.
Which I assume isn't a menu item.
Unfortunately not. It refers to the tangled mess of legacy systems.
The report warns that if you unleash a high-speed AI agent on an old server and that agent decides to check room availability 5,000 times a minute, you can inadvertently DDoS your own hotel. You crash your own system because the agent works faster than the server can handle. So you need to modernize the plumbing before you turn on the faucet.
Exactly. If you are still running on-premise servers in the basement, you cannot effectively deploy these agents. Cloud migration is now a prerequisite for AI.
There's another risk factor here that caught my eye: privacy.
Massive amounts. And because these agents are autonomous, there is a risk they might decide to share guest data with a third party, say a tour provider, to be helpful without realizing they just violated GDPR or CCPA.
That's the black box problem.
Right. The report estimates that compliance costs, audit, encryption, redacting personal info, add about $8,000 to $25,000 per deployment. You have to ensure the agent understands privacy laws, not just room rates.
Looking forward, the report paints a picture of the agent-to-agent economy by 2027. This sounded like science fiction to me.
It's closer than you think. Imagine you have a personal travel agent AI on your phone. Your AI goes out and talks directly to the Hilton or Marriott AI.
So no Expedia, no Kayak?
No user interface at all. The transaction happens in milliseconds, server to server. Deal done.
That completely changes search engine optimization.
SEO dies. Agentic search takes over.
Hotels won't need to optimize their websites for keywords. They'll need to optimize their data for actionability. If an AI agent can't easily read your inventory, you become invisible. So if I'm a restaurant owner or a hotel GM listening to this, what do I do tomorrow? The report lists some strategic recommendations. First, audit your tech stack. Are you API ready? Second, adopt a human-in-the-loop for high-stakes tasks. If an ordering AI receives an order for 500 burgers, it shouldn't just process it. It should flag a human manager. A confidence threshold.
Exactly. If the AI is less than 95% sure, it calls for backup. And finally, own your data. Don't rely solely on third-party platforms like OpenAI to know your customers. Build your own knowledge graph so that your agents know your guests better than anyone else.
It really does feel like the industrial revolution of the service sector.
It is. The winners won't just be the ones with the best food or the softest sheets. It will be the ones who successfully integrate silicon staff alongside their human teams.
It's about removing the friction so the humans can focus on hospitality while the agents handle the logistics. A fascinating look at 2026 and beyond. We'll be tracking those failure rates and the bacon ice cream incidents closely. Thanks for listening to the DX Today Expert Report. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.